Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Kyle.
Marley.
And this is our Universal Critics review of Ghostbusters. Answered the Call? Is that the subtitle?
It's like half a subtitle.
The marketing for this movie was so terrible. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We just got back from Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get into our review, the good and the bad.
And the ugly.
And the ugly. Okay, so premise. This was one of the worst marketed movies ever. It had the most dislikes on YouTube.
Yeah. But I mean, any publicity is good publicity.
Yes, that's true. Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes has us at a
73.
For the critics, and for the fans?
A 57.
A 57 for the fans. So this
that's not as big of a deficit as Apocalypse, though. So
that's true. But the did the critics like that one more or less? Because
I think less.
They
liked it less.
Yeah, this is the first time that the critics actually liked this one more than the fans.
Yeah, and yeah.
So this movie, based on the trailers, how good was it?
Based on the trailers, I thought it was. Well, see, I was a fan of the trailers before the movie came out, so maybe I'm not the person to ask in that.
You were called a feminist in the comments.
I mean, I am a feminist, but I think the two meanings came off different because I meant something and it kind of came off as something else. I don't care. That's in the past. No, but like I was a fan of the trailers before this, but I think this movie lived up to my expectations and maybe exceeded them a little bit. I thought it was a really funny movie. They didn't show what I was scared, like what you're always scared about in comedies is they're showing all the funny parts in the trailers. And I thought there were some funny parts that they didn't show, so I was like, that's good.
Okay. There's people, there was a very feminist or like sexist divide before the trailers came out.
Yeah.
Because there was the whole thing of, oh, you don't like this because they're women doing it, even though that's not what I really think it was. I think it was like an amalgamation of a bunch of different things. That reason why this movie was so negatively perceived. I think it just came in the face
of like people had problems with it, especially because it's not the reboot that they've been trying to do. Because it's the Ghostbusters movie that they're waiting for a long time, and the face of it was just like people were like, oh, it's because they're women.
I do. I think that's the crux of it. And I think the crux of it is not that they're women, because I don't think a lot of people actually care about that. I think there's a lot of like bandwagon, like let's hop on the hating the women train. Yeah. But I think it was mostly, this was not the reboot we all wanted. This was a straight almost comedy, from the trailer perspective. Yeah. It was Bridesmaids with the Ghostbusters skin on it, right? That's what the trailers made it look like. And
I think
it didn't go over well.
No, it didn't, because people, like I said, this is the reboot that they've been waiting for, like Independence Day, even though that's like a different story.
Terrible.
But
that was a terrible movie.
Yeah. Even though that's a different story, like you're waiting for the reboot, and those had the actors that like you wanted from the original and stuff like that, and it didn't change it up. It didn't do a complete 180 like this movie did.
No.
And I think that if this didn't,
it almost changed the theme and the core of what Ghostbusters was from the trailer.
From the previous movies, but I think once you watch this movie, I didn't get a vibe of, oh, they're pushing the women in my face, like. No, I mean, like...
I got that vibe.
You got that vibe?
Okay, so...
You got that vibe was like, no, this is women now.
I got the vibe that's a little bit... There's like a little bit undertone of man-hatiness a little bit in the movie.
A little, I could see that with the receptionist
how did they kill... Not only that, how did they kill the final ghost? They shot him in...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I can't remember.
I felt like there's like a little bit of like almost in a funny, playful way, there is a little bit of woman power and man-hateness in this movie. And now that might cause a little controversy, but if the thing is like, if you wanted to find man-hateness in this movie, you can find it in different places.
You can say that for any movie, though. You could be like,
this movie specifically, though,
specifically, because it's a new cast and everybody's looking like... Right. If this had the same cast, if it had the same cast as before, like all men or whatever, you could be like, oh, there's undertones of this, and this. And if you look hard enough, with a big enough scope, whatever I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, like you can find anything, like a microscope. You can find anything that you want to in a movie if you look hard enough. And this, like, granted, because they're women, and it does come off a little but doesn't every funny movie, like Bridesmaids,
okay,
everyone that's centered around women, but
okay, sure. And Bridesmaids, let's say, is the Hangover for women, right? Or for whatever. Even though I liked Bridesmaids, I thought it was hilarious. Michael didn't like Bridesmaids. I'm sure you liked Bridesmaids. Yeah, it was hilarious. I actually liked it more than the Hangover, but I mean, kind of. I mean, at the time, it was a different. I don't know. Okay, so forget that. Forget I said that. Going. But at the time, at those trailers that you're talking about didn't have a sort of a divide when those trailers came out between men and women, right? So those other movies that you're talking about, that sure, if you look hard enough, you can find like, oh, there's a woman hating joke there, or there's a man hating joke there. This one actually had this sort of meta conception that it knows that it was a woman movie, and they make fun of themselves and men at many times during this movie, where you see, like, they make fun of the boobs, or you hear, like, they actually make fun of YouTube comments at some point in the movie. So they, like, it's a very meta movie. They know what they're doing. So there is a little bit of undertone of man hatiness in this movie, in a playful manner.
But when you say man hating, that sounds like negative.
I know,
because it has
true.
Hating in the worst, so that's a negative connotation.
But there is man hatiness, and then there is woman hatiness, because they do make fun of themselves in the movie.
They make fun of everything. Yeah. So you're
just saying,
pinpointing, like, I could say they hated freaking scientists. They're nerdy people. They're making fun of them. Sure. They're making fun of a lot of people. You can just pinpoint anything you want to pinpoint.
Sure, they're making fun of a lot of different groups and this people, but the main issue here is that. And they knew it, because obviously they filmed stuff, unless they went back and refilmed it after the trailers dropped. They knew that the women was going to, like, them being an all-female cast was going to cause a bit of a commotion.
So they made fun of it.
Which I love, and I applaud, and it was really, really good. Okay, so now getting into the actual movie, what did you like about this movie?
I liked how, when I was watching the movie, I thought it was just going to be a comedy and everything, but there's actually, like, some funny, like Ghostbusting stuff in it, and they were trying to they're like serious about the paranormal and whatnot, and I thought it was good, and it made sense.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. I loved, I'll tell you what, I love Kate McKinnon in this movie.
She is so funny.
So she plays Holtzman, and you see her with the wig and the trailer and everything. Yeah. She completely steals the show in this movie. Yeah. She was the funniest part. Leslie Jones is doing her Saturday Night Live her shtick, right?
Yeah.
And Kristen Wiig is pretty much playing like Kristen Wiig, and Melissa McCarthy is playing pretty much Melissa McCarthy. Yeah. Kate McKinnon was the only one playing an actual character.
If you watch Saturday Night Live and you watch their skits and everything, Kate McKinnon is never a dialed back person. She's always playing some extravagant.
Is that her? Like, I've never seen her in interviews or anything. Is she like, nutty?
I don't watch it. Like, don't stalk Kate McKinnon on internet, but
I think I need to start, because I was a big fan of her in this movie.
No, I think she's great, but I'm just saying that I granted all these people are kind of playing like a thing of themselves.
Yeah, except for Kate McKinnon.
Except for Kate McKinnon. Yeah, if she's
potentially
not crazy.
If she's not actually like that.
But she also plays very out of the ordinary characters on SNL and whatnot.
Okay.
Like the alien skit, if any of you know what I'm talking about, that was really funny.
Yeah.
And like they're out of the blue, and you're like, that's wacky and that's weird.
Right.
So I feel like she got this role because she can do that so well, and you can believe her, and you just be like, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's
no,
crazy.
I can totally see that. Another thing I liked is I actually liked the visual effects in the movie.
I thought it was so good.
So I know a lot of people had a problem with them, like in the trailer and everything, but I actually didn't mind the way the ghosts. After a while, like I was kind of irked by it a little bit when I first saw it, but then you get used to it, and I actually like where they went with everything.
Who's actually seen a real ghost? Who are you to say like that's not ghostly?
That's true.
You don't know what a ghost looks like.
No, that's true. That is true.
It could be cartoon characters.
Chris Hemsworth was funny.
He was really funny.
Up into a point. And then I felt like they went a little too far with he's just the stupid guy, and like a stupid receptionist. Okay. Any more good that you loved about the movie?
There probably is, but let's get to the ugly.
Okay, so let's get to the bad. What didn't you like about this movie?
There were certain points, like, I'm all for comedy, but there's some points where I'm like, that's just tacky.
Yeah, some of the jokes didn't hit as much as I wanted to.
I think
although I will say the trailer jokes that we saw in the trailer came off a lot better in context.
The context
and the context
really
of the
funny.
movie. But there were a lot of jokes that sort of didn't hit.
Yeah.
Or
there are times where I was like, oh, like that's a funny part, but then like they kind of kept dragging out. Especially, I think most of the time that happened with the receptionist.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth, like, it was funny the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then it just became less and less funny every time he was on screen.
Yeah, like it happened, he'd say something stupid and be like, oh, that's funny, and then like they built on it, and I'm like, that's not something good to build on.
You know what I just thought of that was also really good about the movie? I actually stayed for the entire end credits because the end credits were actually kind of cool.
They were.
They actually did something really. They did something really different with the end credits. Yeah, a little dancing at the end and everything. It was pretty cool. It was actually like a way to do the end credits.
They're not like black credits where you just have the white letters of the cast. It's like interactive. It's like Rush Hour at the end.
Something else I didn't like about the movie is that there were a bunch of cameos from different actors.
That there's a bunch of cameos.
It's not that I don't like
the original.
It's not that I don't like that there were a bunch of Well, there it is kind of that, because I do feel like they were sort of shoehorned in, like just say like, oh, these guys were from the original Ghostbusters and now they're here. I wish there was more congruity between them. I wish they were more story, like have Bill Murray in the movie, but don't let him just be a cameo, or have the girl who played the receptionist in the first movie, or even Susan Sarandon. Don't let them just she was a cameo in an end credits.
But I also get the point that you want to salute the original, but to a point, it's not there in movie anymore. It's a different movie.
That's the other thing that kind of bothered me, is that this took place in a different, this is a completely different, this is a reboot.
That kind of bothered me too.
I think that would have benefited a lot more had this been a continuation from the first Ghostbusters.
And I think it would have been a cool storyline if they tracked down Bill Murray and the other guys, Dan Aykroyd and what's his name, and been like, and we have to learn from you.
He played a taxi driver in the movie.
And I thought it was really funny.
I almost didn't even recognize him at first because he had the accent and everything.
Yeah, but then you hear the iconic line and you're like, oh god.
Spoiler? Is that a spoiler? That's not really a spoiler.
Good job. I was trying to avoid it with everything I had.
Yeah. Okay. Ugly. What else?
Ugly. I thought there was mediocre ugly. I thought it was ugly to the point where there's a younger couple sitting next to us in the movie theater, and I thought it was so funny because all the jokes that they made to the original, they didn't get at all. They didn't get, and it was so funny. But she was really loud during some of the scenes.
That's true. That is very true.
I
mean,
it's good.
No, and if this movie was not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I was going into it. The trailers made it look so much worse than it actually is. Is it a great movie? No, it's not a great movie. It has pacing problems a little bit. It kind of died down at some parts. All the jokes didn't hit.
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon was a standout.
I think so.
There was too many cameos. And there is a little bit of a man-hating vibe that you get from this movie, a little bit. Okay, you can roll your eyes, but there is a little bit of that. You can totally see it.
A little bit, but there's also
How did they kill the final ghost? How did they kill the final ghost?
Okay, but
that is a straight shot.
How was Chris Hemsworth hella very?
You can say hella. It's okay. It's not family friendly.
Very sexist when he did the boobs on the ghost. There's a lot you could be like.
But that's them making. But that's them being aware, making fun of themselves.
You don't think they're aware with their man-hatingness? You think that's just oh, I'm the director. I'm gonna put some subliminal engine.
It's just that the men character. Okay, no, I hear you. It's just that the men characters in this movie were kind of either idiots or villains for the most part. So, and what's the problem with that? No, I'm not. I'm not saying.
There's a lot of movies where the women.
I'm not saying
where
that
the women are just freaking trophies.
No, agree. And objects and background
trophies
play.
And whatnot.
Agree.
You're getting to a point where even 40, 50 years ago, when the women in films, they weren't the main icons.
Right.
They weren't the main people. They were never have 4 main stars
female actors
as the
agreed.
front runners.
Agreed.
And so. Sorry, this one movie has a tiny bit. Okay, not this one movie. Sorry, this new era of women getting the front row can make some man jokes.
I'm not saying that I have a problem with it.
And people get butthurt about it.
No, but I'm not saying that I have a problem with it because God knows that
you're making it sound like you have a problem with it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that
there was some man-hating jokes.
I'm just saying that there was that in this movie.
Yes.
So
yeah.
It's
all whatever.
Someone's phone is going off.
Oh, it looks to be yours.
Whoops.
Mine is right here.
That's not
cool.
cool.
And it is on silent.
Well, mine's not on silent, so hopefully you can't pick it up.
He's too popular, guys.
But yeah, so then your final score, my final score, 73 from the critics, 57 from the fans. Who got it right?
The critics. I think 73.
Ooh, that's our first critics got it right.
I think so. I think 73 is a fine percent to give this movie. This person is obsessed with you.
Yeah, I'm just about ready to touch it, but I'm just going to leave it. Usually it appears on my laptop. I can just click it off. Anyway, I think 73 might be a little high for this movie. It wasn't a 7 out of 10 for me. It was probably like a 6.8. I would probably give it like a 6 point. No, I mean, but that's good.
That 2%.
But no,
man.
okay, fine. But you know how you have scales and you're like, it's not exactly a 7, but I want to throw it below a 6. You have to give it like a number inside there.
6.5.
68%.
You're looking for, and
68,
you gave it a 6.8.
Because I liked it a little bit more than 65%.
And that's 2 less than 7.
Why are you hating on my score? You're being so man-hating right now.
This is my problem.
No, this is my problem. We get from a movie that goes and just shoots ghosts.
Oh, sorry, we're giving a little women empowerment for man. Sorry, you're just
There's a difference between
everyone.
No. I'm not. I'm all for women. I love Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is all about women empowerment.
Oh yeah.
But there is a line between women empowerment and then kind of man hatey, and that you get a vibe from that. But I still like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie. And I don't mind the man hatey vibe.
I feel like you're saying two contrasting things right now.
I
liked the movie a lot. It was man hatey.
I can still.
You can say that.
Maybe I like man hating stuff.
You bring it up a lot for still liking it. That's mine.
Yeah, but 68% isn't like I'm in love with this movie.
I never said it was. I'm just saying you keep bringing it up a lot, but you're still like, I like this movie. You could either, I didn't like that movie that much because it was man hatey.
Agree to disagree.
I'm right. You're wrong.
That's man hating.
This is also why I have a problem with the word hater. I hate people who say they.
You just use the word you hate describing the people you hate.
No.
You said hate. You said hater.
I never said I say. I said I hate people. I'm haters. That term bothers me.
Anyway, that's what we thought of the movie. Tell us what you thought in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you want to have more reviews like this, where me and Marley just disagree.
All the time.
We disagree all the time.
In real life.
This is real life.
Is it?
This is my life. Follow us on Snapchat. I remember Snapchat.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyway,
This is Marley.
This is Kyle.
Bye.
No. And this has been a critique on the universe of movies.
I've never done an exit before.
And you would choose this one, the women empowering video, to do it?
Oh my god. Can we get over this?
Later.